Slides moving okay, Grant?
Yeah, sure can.
All right, perfect. So we're going to cover who we are, eXp Solutions, our business model, and joining eXp. So who we are, how we made it to today. So this is Glenn Sanford, the founder and CEO of the company. So he actually started with Keller Williams back in the early 2000s, and he was kind of doing internet lead generation before internet lead generation was happening. And he saw a better way to do real estate, and that was by starting the first cloud-based brokerage in the history of real estate. He saw that real estate agents were really the ones building the companies, but they weren't always being rewarded. So he wanted to develop a model where agents were being more heavily rewarded than any other model before. So the timeline, so we started actually all the way back in 2009, and I've seen some different stats that we're the first company or the fastest company, I guess, to hit 10,000 agents. It took us less than 10 years, where it took the other big franchises like Keller Williams and Remax more like around 20 years to hit 10,000 agents. So that's pretty neat. And then also, I think you can see my highlighter here. We've been in Inman almost on a weekly basis, seeing like top different teams from other companies joining our brokerage. You've seen independent brokerages joining our company. I think what's happening in eXp right now in terms of top teams and independent brokers joining our company has really never happened before. We've actually had independent firms join eXp, some who have had agent counts in the hundreds. So you got, independent brokerage joining a national brokerage with hundreds of agents. Never happened before. eXp World Holdings is actually the only brokerage to ever operate in all 50 states that's not like a franchise. So like your Keller Williams franchise, Remax, Century 21, those are all franchises, so they don't count. We're the only singly owned real estate company to operate in all 50 states ever. So that's kind of cool. So last announced, we're around 19,000 agents and all 50 states, 4 Canadian provinces, and soon to be in, it sounds like, 2 to 3 additional countries by the end of this year. And I think at shareholders, which I'm flying out tomorrow for shareholders, it's our annual event every year in the spring. And I think they're going to announce that we hit 20,000 because I know we're really close. And I know they're going to announce at least 1 country that we're entering right now, and maybe 2 countries, and rumor has it we should be in 3 additional countries by the end of the year. So we're super excited about that. But I mean, you can just see this growth curve. I mean, from 2013 to where I joined, which was about right here, to where we are now. So we call this hockey stick progression. And at the shareholders meeting last year, we had some tech companies there. And what was interesting, this is kind of an outsider's perspective. They're like, you're a real estate company, but you're growing like a tech company because we're just growing so fast. eXp Solutions. So this gets into the meat of why agents are joining us. I look at eXp, and when I think of it, there's 5 different reasons why an agent would join eXp. Some of them are here. eXp World, that's our cloud-based office. SkySlope, that's our transaction management. Workplace by Facebook, that's our private community where you go in there and get company announcement. Our company meetings are streamed live in there. We have water cooler chat, which is pretty neat. CRM and lead generation, KV Core. If you don't have a CRM system for your real estate business, you definitely need one, and you need one that is a good system. KV Core is, I like to think of it as the Lamborghini of real estate. So if you've been selling real estate for a while, you probably know some of the big CRM systems like Boomtown, Commissions Inc. I used to use Boomtown when I was with Keller Williams, and I spent $1,500 a month just on the technology to run Boomtown for my team. As an eXp agent, you get KV Core. We got Boomtown Ferrari, KV Core Lamborghini. You get KV Core for $50 a month, which is amazing. So you're getting a $1,500 a month tech package for pretty much $50 a month. So I thought that was pretty good when I came over. I've been live training 30 plus hours of live training every single week. And what's cool about this is it's being taught by some of the biggest producers in the country. So we have classes on lead generation, listing presentations, buyer presentations. One of the coolest classes that I think that we offer is Accounting 101. I mean, this is like, I've never seen this taught by any other real estate company. Once you get a commission check, what do you do with it from there? I thought that was pretty good because I feel like real estate agents as a whole do a very poor job of saving money, managing their money, paying taxes, all those types of things. That's why eXp is thriving so much, because we have a solution to all of those things. So our business model, so we've all seen what's happened to Blockbuster because Netflix came on the scene, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And there's only one Blockbuster left, and it's in Bend, Oregon. Little fun fact for you today. Circuit City, we don't see any of those anymore. They've gone away. I just seen an article recently. The headline was, "Can Best Buy survive Amazon?" What we're seeing is all around the country, we're seeing JCPenney's closing down. We see Sears closing down. I mean, there's a mall, I'm in Michigan right now where I grew up in. The mall I used to go to as a kid is closing down. What's happening is technology's really changed the game. Businesses can operate differently. And we all know that because probably most of us on here use Amazon, use Netflix. And that's what eXp is doing with the traditional real estate brokerage. Now, I don't think the traditional real estate brokerage is going to go away per se, but eXp is definitely going to take huge market share. Just like there's always going to be some brick and mortar stores for you to go shop at. That's kind of what's going to happen with the real estate business. All right. So the typical franchise, you're going to have costly overhead, franchise fees, desk fees. It's going to be locally confined, smaller referral network, inconsistent growth incentives, minimal opportunities for ownership. I mean, I remember when I was with Keller Williams, for me to buy in to get some ownership in that company, it was going to be about $50,000 to invest in opening a new market center. Those opportunities are very rare. They don't come up a lot. And if they do, they're expensive. I mean, most real estate agents don't have $50,000 laying around. And if you're lucky, you might get your investment back in a few years and then start getting a return on it. So that just didn't seem like a very good opportunity for me at the time. So minimal opportunities for ownership, and then limited tech and support. At eXp, we have low fees, a competitive split, which we're going to talk about in a second. Expansions encouraged. You actually have one cap of $16,000, and you can go into any market in the entire country under that one cap, which is really neat. Powerful earning opportunities through revenue share and stock, and then also real-time support in the cloud office. All right, so the commission and cap, this is what most agents are pretty interested in when looking at a new opportunity. So it's 80-20 commission split. When I saw that, I was like, hey, that's pretty good. It's not the reason I switched, but I thought that was much better because I was on a 64-36 before. When you consider your franchise fee, you got to make sure you're thinking about that when making a switch. So 80-20 commission split. So on a $10,000 transaction at eXp, I'd get $8,000 of that until I cap. And over at KW, I'd only get $6,400. So right off the bat, I was getting a raise. And then we have a $16,000 cap. If you're unfamiliar about caps, once you pay in out of your commission check $16,000, your cap, and then you go to 100%. At my office, it was $25,000. So again, got another raise right off the bat there. And what's cool as well is once you're capped, you pay a transaction fee of $250, so you can become an icon agent, and we're going to talk about that on the next slide. Standard cost, $149 startup fee, $50 a month tech fee, which I already mentioned. That's for your KV core. That's for your SkySlope. $35 a month university fee. That's for those 30 plus hours of live training. A $25 broker review fee. That's pretty common. I had that at my old brokerage too. You always want to have a broker reviewing your files, keep you out of real estate jail, as we call it. And then $40 risk management fee, and that's going to be your E&O insurance, and that has a cap of $500. So the equity opportunities. So this is starting to get into why I really joined the company. And just to be clear, some agents join us just because KV Core is that amazing. So they just come over for KV Core, or maybe they come over for the 80-20 split and the $16,000 cap. So a lot of agents don't even care about the stock, but the stock was a big part of the reason why I came over. So let's talk about the stock. So again, we're traded on the publicly NASDAQ. So EXPI is our ticker symbol. You can go there and see what we're trading for. We've been hovering around $10 a share, which is really exciting because when I joined the company, we're at $2.80 a share. So it's gone up. So I like that. There's multiple ways where you can actually earn stock in our company. So we call these our stock awards. It's basically free stock. So the first way is by selling your first house every year. So every year when you sell your first house, you're going to get 200 shares of stock. I'm sorry, $200 worth of stock, not shares. 200 shares would be pretty nice. You're going to get shares when you fully cap every single year. And I thought that was pretty good because before when I capped, I just got a paper certificate with a black cap on it, like a ball cap, and it said capper on it. And it didn't even have a nice picture frame for me to hang up on my wall. So I was pretty excited to start getting shares instead of that slip of paper every year. And then you're also going to earn shares of stock when you bring in an agent to the company. And I love that because when I love something, whether it's a restaurant or Amazon Prime, I love Amazon Prime. I'm always ordering stuff on Amazon Prime. When I love something, I'm going to share it with other people. And unfortunately, Amazon's never sent me a check or a free gift or anything. But at eXp, you're actually going to get shares of stock when you share the company with someone, they join, and when they close their first transaction. So I love that. And then this is like the holy grail for agents. So when you sell enough homes to cap, which is 2.66 million in volume. In most markets, that's going to be 10, 11 homes. So once you sell those 10, 11 homes for 2.66 million in volume at a 3% commission rate, that's when you hit your 16K cap. So it's really not that hard to cap. You know, if you've been selling for a while, you're probably selling at least 10 homes a year or more. So you'd be a capping agent. Then once you go on to sell another 20 houses, you qualify to become an icon agent, and you get your entire $16,000 back in the form of company stock. I love that. My first year with the company, I was awarded that. And now because of the Sustainable Equity Plan and the Icon Agent Award, I was given around 8,000 shares of stock so far. So that's around, at today's value, $80,000 worth of stock. Whereas at my prior company, I'd usually just get, like I said, that certificate and maybe a glass trophy at the end of the year for being a top producer. So I like this a lot better than those glass trophies. And then I think this is really, really cool. And any agent can participate in this. It's our agent equity program. So you can actually take 5% of your commission check and put that towards eXp stock at a 20% discount. Now, this is where we start to get into getting off the hamster wheel of selling real estate. I mentioned agents are bad at saving money. A lot of times, they're not even paying their taxes on time. There's just a big problem in the real estate industry. I mean, the average agent only makes $38,000 a year is the latest stat I've seen. So what happens is most real estate agents, they end up selling until the day they die or living on a very small Social Security salary or income, whatever you want to call it, which is just a really sad thing to work that hard your entire life and not really have a nice retirement waiting for you. So I think this is a nice solution to that. I know RE/MAX, for example, they charge 5% in franchise fees with no cap. So you could just, if you're a RE/MAX agent coming over, you could just be putting that franchise fee that's just going away, never to be seen again, into our stock at a 20% discount. So I like that. Now we get into the thing that I was most excited about. If you're familiar with Keller Williams, Keller Williams does profit share. Well, Glenn Sanford, being a former Keller Williams agent, saw that and thought, what if we could eliminate the bricks and mortar, cloud office, and give revenue share to agents instead of profit share? What would that look like? And that's why he really built the company. So when I first joined Keller Williams, I did not even know about profit share. But when I got there and heard about it, I was like, that is pretty cool. I like the idea of residual income. I actually, even before I got into real estate, I was always very interested and did a little bit of real estate investing. So I always liked the idea of having passive income so that I could have location freedom, time freedom, and money freedom. However, as a real estate agent, I think a lot of times we get into the business to at least have time freedom and money freedom. Location freedom is a little hard being a real estate agent, but money freedom and time freedom certainly are, I think, some of the draws of why people get into the business. All too often to realize that you're a slave to your business. Even when you're on vacation, you're answering the phone, you're negotiating deals, you're calling clients back. So really, you don't have time freedom at all. It's really, in real estate, you either have time freedom or money freedom. If you have time freedom, it's because you have no clients. And if you have money freedom, it's because you have a lot of clients and no time freedom at all. And residual income, as hopefully all of you know, or you're learning now, is the only way to have those things and to have all three of them. I know a lot of people, or at least a few of the people on this call are real estate investors. So you guys get this at a high level. So when I saw the revenue share, I was like, all right, so you're telling me if I sponsor an agent and they join and they're a capping agent, I'll earn $2,800 per year in residual income. Well, that's pretty cool, because I know if I would probably have to have, at least one rental property with a mortgage on it to cash flow, say $250 a month to earn that income. So I thought, for me, being a newer real estate agent, and having a lot of expenses and after taxes, I mean, it's not easy to save all that money to buy a rental property. So I thought this was a better way to create that type of residual income. I said, so you're telling me if I bring over one agent, that's kind of the equivalent of having one rental property, and I don't have to worry about any of the headaches that are associated with that. I thought that was pretty cool. So this is how it works. So when you sponsor an agent, you get on the first tier up to 3.5% of the gross commission. So I sponsored Grant. Grant sells a house. It's a $10,000 commission to make the money easy to do. I earn $350 in commission from his commission. So that's pretty good. And that can happen up to 7 tiers, which we're going to talk about. So my big goal coming over was like, if I could just bump into a few agents every year, talk to my cross-sell agents. I go to real estate conferences and things like that because I'm always learning. So if I could just bring over 5 every single year myself for 5 years, that'd be 25. And based on what I see some other agents in the company doing, that 25 has a good chance to turn into 500 at the end of the year. Well, that's pretty good, because what we discovered at eXp was that for each agent that you sponsor, they're worth around $800 per person, $800 to $1,000 per person. So based on that math, that residual income would be $400,000 to $500,000 a year, and I thought I could live on that. I thought I'd be doing all right. So that was my goal, and the company is really just growing so fast, and it's solving such a big problem we have in the real estate industry. So it's just growing faster than that. So in 18 months, I was actually able to hit 500 agents in my organization. So last June, I hit 500 agents in my organization, and by that time, I had sponsored about 22. So by sponsoring 22 agents, that turned into 500, and at that point, I considered myself financially free because it completely replaced my income when I was selling houses, and we were selling 80 to 90 homes a year. And by sponsoring just 22 people, that turned into 500. It completely retired us really from selling real estate. And at the age of 31, I was able to completely retire from selling real estate because of this revenue share model. Fast forward to today, it's June 3rd. We have just under 1,300 total agents in our organization, and I have 30 agents that I sponsored into the company. So you can see, in less than a year, my total revenue share organization has gone from 500 to 1,300. That's just massive growth. I have agents now in 37 states, 3 Canadian provinces, and soon to be an additional country, which will be announced hopefully on Wednesday at shareholders. The person opening that additional country is in my team, and I don't even know that person. I had one quick call with them just to share some wisdom, and that's just really exciting. It's a model that has never been done before at this level. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So tier 1, tier 2. So I see we got John on the call. So Grant sponsored John. So this is what that looks like. So I sponsored Grant. So I explained that I can earn up to $2,800 a year from Grant's 20% from that $16,000 that Grant's paying into eXp. Then Grant went ahead and sponsored John. So I can earn up to $3,200 a year from John. So John's a capping agent. I earn 3,200 and Grant earns 2,800 because John would be Grant's tier 1. He'd be my tier 2. And I get this question a lot. People are like, well, do they have to be a capping agent for you to receive that income? No. I also get, do you have to wait until the end of the year to get that revenue share once they cap? No. Grant sells a house in the month of June. I get paid July. If Grant only sold one house a year and it happened in June, I would get paid that income in July. It doesn't matter how many houses the agent you sponsor sells, you're always going to get paid the month after they sell that house. So that's pretty good. And there's no limit to how many agents you can sponsor. So these are the different tiers. So we already talked about tier 1, tier 2. So this is how much you can earn up to for each one of those 7 tiers, all the way down up to $4,000 on tier 7. And then this column here, you need a certain amount of agents to qualify. So I mentioned that I have about 30 agents sponsored right now. So I actually only qualify for my first 6 tiers. And we can talk about that more at the end of the call if you guys have questions on that. But I want to give you an example. So tier 1, just to keep the math simple, if you sponsored 5 agents who all sponsored 5, you'd have 25 on tier 2. You'd make $94,000 a year with only 30 agents who cap. You'd make $14,000 per year on the 5 agents that you brought over, and then $80,000 per year on the 25 that they brought over. So I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty good. I get excited when I see that. And if you're like, well, hey, yeah, of course everyone's not going to cap, not all 5 are going to go out and get 5. Of course they're not. So one person might get 25 and the rest get none. You don't know until you start working this model. But what I do know is my averages, so out of my 30 or so people on this tier, they've each averaged 6. So it's actually better than this model here. They've all have averaged 6. But they're certainly not all cappers. That's a fact. You're never going to have all cappers. So let's just say they're all half cappers. If they're all half cappers, well, this 94,000 would turn into 47,000. So $47,000 a year in residual income is still more than the average agent makes a year, grinding it out, spending money on leads, having to deal with disgruntled clients, as we've all had, having that overhead, working 40, 50 hours a week, missing some dinners with their family, missing some soccer games on the weekends because they got to show houses, hold open houses, whatever. So that's still a significant residual income. I like to look at it at a perspective like this. If you were to save $1.5 million at 6%, that's what it would take to receive an annual income of $94,000. So ask yourself, if you keep doing what you're currently doing, if you stay with your current real estate broker, how long would it take you at your current pace to save $1.5 million? And this is after tax and your living expenses. I don't know about you guys, but it would have taken me a very long time to get there. I was earning around $20,000 a month as a real estate agent after all my expenses, and my savings rate was embarrassingly low. That's just the reality, guys. Taxes are a real thing, and I like to call it lifestyle creep. You start making a little bit of money, you might get a little better car, maybe a little bigger house. It's hard to save a lot of money. $1.5 million. So, look at this. $94,000 a year, it would still take you 17 years. Like, that's crazy. Think about that. Is it easier to save $94,000 a year and in 17 years you'll have $1.56 million? Or would it be easier to go out and get 5 who get 5? And it's not going to happen like that. It's going to be, maybe 10 agents who all get 3. But would it be easier to get 10 agents who all got 3? I'll just share with you, it is. It's much easier than saving $94,000 a year. It's much easier. So to join eXp, you simply fill out our online application, and then you're going to sign your independent contractor agreement. And then at that point, your license will actually transfer. So If you're just curious about eXp and you want to get more information, the next step really is just to fill out that online app. It takes about 2 minutes, and then you'll automatically be sent the independent contractor agreement. And that's going to outline in black and white all the numbers that I discussed here. I know I went pretty quick on them, and numbers can be a little overwhelming for some people. So I would just fill out that app, get that independent contractor agreement, and go through it and really read it so you have more clarity on all the numbers that we discussed. And then at that point, if it still makes sense for you, you'll sign that, and then that's when your transfer of license would happen. So that's that. And I always like to think of this. So in 2004, Mark Zuckerberg invited 5 people to his Harvard dorm room to discuss a business opportunity. Only 2 showed up, and they got in. Dustin is worth 12.7 billion, and Eduardo is worth 9.6 billion. What a lesson for those other 3 and all of us. Nothing is more expensive than a closed mind. And all of you are on this call. You have an open mind, so congratulations on that. But that's pretty cool. This is truly an opportunity that's still in the garage, like Microsoft was when Bill Gates was building it. We're still ground floor with what we're doing. I mean, we only have 19, 20,000 agents, whatever the official count is right now. I mean, KW has 160,000. We're just in North America right now, and we're just now starting to open additional countries. This opportunity, and for people who get in and start working the business, are going to just have a massive opportunity ahead of them. So that's all I have. Now I just want to open it up to Q&A.